Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Life after gang life isn't something that you hear a lot of people talking about. Now, I do because I'm a podcaster, but for me, that's, par for the course. It don't bother me to talk about my life inside Gangster Disciple. It don't bother me to talk about how life is for me away from that lifestyle. You feel what I'm saying? It doesn't bother me at all. But a lot of people, they just want to forget about it and go on with their lives, And there's this one dude I want to tell y'all about, man, that he never became like a top dude, you know what I'm saying? But he was in the echelon. He was in the top echelons, right? And this brother named 300. And before I get into the story about what life's been like for him as a former gamer, I'm going to lay the foundation for how he conducted himself and how he was, a part of that business for years. Because I think he had over 20-something years. I think he had more time in than I did. He just wasn't, the type of dude that, they elevated up, right? I think as high as he got, he might have became the number two. He might have became the number two. But I know when he was, on the same compound with me, he was like a pod coordinator, whatever. But he had way more knowledge and understanding the thing. He just didn't want to be bothered with it, right? He didn't want to be bothered with it. But his last year as a part of the business, he wasn't around me. And I think this is when he elevated and at least got up to that number two position. That last year, it was kind of hard for him. It was kind of hard for him. He had a lot of brothers that were cool with the number one, the 9 that he was under. And they wanted that position that he had. And they were doing everything to try to undermine him, get him out of the spot, get the number one, the 9, to lose trust in him and all this and that, so he would replace him. But that, that's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do. So they were trying to make him look like he was a coward, One day they set it up with the opposition to, spook him, not really try him, and stick him or anything, but just spook him and try to get him to run, from the fight versus standing his ground or running into it. And it almost worked, except for he had a lot of brothers that were with him that were understanding what was going on. So they were standing the ground with him and kind of made him feel like, I can do this, right? But he was getting tired. He was getting tired of all the manipulation, all the games that were being played. And this is what broke the back for him, right? It finally made him decide that, it's time to go. He had, the 9 wanted him to go to another unit and look over some things and see how things had been going, right? So he did that. He went to another unit. And I can relate to this because I remember walking around to the other units just to check up on the guys and see how they were doing and all this and that, right? And you will see all kinds of stuff going on when you are not around, when they think nobody's watching. And he ran into a situation like this when he was going around inspecting the other units, and looking to see how the brothers was living and all this and that. And he saw that brothers wasn't even trying to, conduct themselves in the GD fashion or anything like that, right? And he went to check the box, right? The box, when I say the box, I mean the dues that are collected, that's the money, right? And then here we call it the box because it's mostly commissary that'll be traded out, 2 for 1 or whatever the case may be. But the guys got to pay, $6 a month in dues every month, regardless. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes it gets increased depending on the circumstances, right? But it's $6 a month every month, $1 for each star on, the star day. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, here we go. The business was this. He goes into the unit and he sees one of the brothers that he thought was in charge of the box, the treasurer, for that particular unit anyway. So he asked the brother, let him see the books. So he went in there and he opened up the books and it was really just blank. It was blank. So he asked the brother, what's going on? Why don't you have some stuff in the box? It was just a couple of days after dues had been collected, so it should have been plenty of stuff. It was like 20 brothers in that building. You understand what I'm saying? So it should have been at least $140, $150 worth of stuff in the box, not counting stuff that had been loaned out and charged 2 for 1, right? But it was flat out empty. So he tell the brother, he said, man, what's going on? And the brother just didn't know what to say. He was really trying to play stuff and didn't want to answer his question. So he told the brother, go get the power coordinator. So the brother go get the power coordinator and bring him back to talk to 300. He telling 300, look, man, I don't answer to you. And that's a total disrespect when you know what I'm saying, the 9 or the number 2, and somebody that's beneath you, knowing that they are beneath you, subordinate to you as far as the chain goes, and know they supposed to be subordinate, tells you I don't answer to you. Right? I answer to the treasurer of the compound, which is not true. He got to still answer questions when 300 answered me, right? So 300 took offense to that. And he folded up the book, he handed him the book back, and he got on down and left the unit, right? And on his way out the door, he heard the brother laughing at him as he was walking. "Yo, old sucker ass nigga, get on up out of here," right? So 300, he gone and walk up out of there. He get out of the unit, and that was when he told me, that was the moment that he had that revelation to say, you know what? They got this. They got this. So he went on back to the unit, and he was in the unit with the 9. He went on back to the unit, he said, and he talking to the 9, he told the 9, he said, "Man, you know, I just come from the unit down there, man, and I was just checking the box, and one of the brothers told me he don't answer to me this and that pissed the 9 off. He was like, who was it, what it was, and all this and that, write him up, all this and that. And he said, yeah, I do all that, right? He said, but you know what? It made me realize, man, that, you know, enough of this. I'm done with this. You feel what I'm saying? If brothers don't want to do what they know they supposed to do, I'm not going to be trying to force them to do it. I'm just tired. I've been doing this for decades. Brothers don't get it. They don't care no more. So why should I? And the 9 is looking at him, talking to him, trying to get him to change his mind and tell him how valuable he is to the business and don't want him to abandon the struggle, and using all of the type of language that will make a person feel guilty for walking away. But it didn't work this day. So he went on and wrote the brother up to talk crazy to him about the box. And they had a hearing. And at the hearing, the brother was arguing his case, but he didn't say he didn't say it. He said he was just under a different understanding because he had been told that he answers to the treasurer and the treasurer alone, which is not true, but that's what he said. But at the end of the day, he was found guilty. And because he was so blatantly disrespectful about the whole situation, even after they gave him a chance to apologize, he wouldn't do it. They gave him 6 minutes, no cover-up. Beat him down. Beat him down. Well, that was 300's last official act. He was done. He was done. So a few days later, he put in his paperwork and all this. And he had enough years. He was old enough. The brothers let him walk away in good standing. Everything appeared to be fine. You feel me? But like me, when I first walked away from the business after I retired, you know, he had, you know what I'm saying, some withdrawal symptoms where he would want to hang around the brothers, talk to the brothers, this and this and that. But he had a little bit more difficulty than I did. He told me that when he would try to hang around the brother, that's when they started getting really disrespectful with him because he wasn't part of the business no more. But traditionally, you know, we treat the brothers that retire with respect because they've been through it. They gave everything they had. They got, basically, you're just getting too old for it. But they were disrespectful to him, and it made him just really want to pull up. It made him really realize that, you know, I made the right decision. Because I don't want to be around brothers like this. But it was something going on within the business, right? And I noticed it too when I retired. You have a more aggressive, more disrespectful, more type of individual that don't care about structure, don't care about the norms, don't care about the laws. Is I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and if you don't want to do what I want to do, then forget you. You ain't nothing to me. You ain't nothing. No boundaries, no nothing. None of that. So 300 pulled all the way up from the guys. He still kicked it with the 9 every now and then. You know, the 9 would come to him because he knew that he could trust him and talk to him about things that, you know, he couldn't talk about with anybody else because 300 had been his most trusted confidant for years. You feel what I'm saying? Somebody he can sell anything to, and he knew that it wasn't going to go anywhere. So he still kicked it with the 9, but, you know, that was about the extent of it. It was about the extent of it. For the most part, brothers stopped speaking to him and everything, you know. So here's the thing. Let me get to the plot of this story, though. That same brother that he put in violation, that disrespected him and deserved to be put in violation, started plotting against him. Started plotting against him. And started spreading propaganda against him, not within GD, but to all the other oppositions, you know, Vice Lords, Bloods, Crips, Aryans, He started telling them, man, dude ain't straight. He starts making them believe that he didn't walk away from GD. GD walked away from him. You feel me? And basically, when you tell the opposition things like that, you open that brother up to being assaulted. Because, see, a lot of the opposition, you know what I'm saying, they see that as opportunities to get their lick back. Oh, man, he ain't got nobody backing him. He ain't got nobody riding with him. Oh, let's get him. And that's what that brother was trying to do. And it worked. It worked. 300 wasn't no sucker. You know what I'm saying? He got his nickname for a reason. This brother was huge, but he wasn't fat huge. He was big. This brother, I don't think he weighed quite 300 pounds, but he was so big, so massive that, hey man, if he told you he weighed 300, you wouldn't doubt it. This man had arms like 24, 26 inches big. Wasn't no coward at all. He was just a mild-mannered dude that had been raised not to be, you know what I'm saying, the type of person that used his size against each other to get his way. He was just cool like that. He was laid back. Mild-mannered dude. And a lot of people thought he was a coward. He couldn't fight, all that old type of stuff. But it wasn't even that. He could have hit you and knocked you down just by thumping you. But he wasn't like that. This dude was a mild-mannered dude. But again, like I say, by him being so laid back, behind his back, cats talk crazy. Because most people had never even seen him fight. But I had. Years and years ago, I seen him fight. And it really wasn't a fight. He grabbed the dude and just had him choking him by his neck and almost killed the man. Yeah. One of them had to tell him, let him go, man. He done blinked out. And I think that's one of the reasons he just didn't like putting his hands on nobody. But if you mess with him and you push him now, when he go down, look here, you better know what you're doing. Better know what you're doing. So anyway, the opposition, they had him. They had him because they didn't like him either, because it was almost one of them situations like, he the biggest one. If we can get him, we can send that message. So some of the they started plotting against him, trying to get him. You know, just because he hadn't done anything to them. He hadn't done anything to him, but it was just because he was on his own. Let's go on and get him. They ain't gonna help him. So the word got back to the 9 that the op was trying to push on 300. So he pulled 300 in the cell and he talking to him. He telling him, he said, look, be careful, man. He said, you know, I can't get in it. We ain't gonna be able to get in there. But be careful, because a lot of brothers, you know what I'm saying, around here, they don't like you. You know that. And he understood that. He understood that. But he just wanted to coast out and do these last few years, you know what I'm saying, before he went home and just chill. That's all he wanted, just to chill. Just to chill. That's all he wanted. But see, the opposition wasn't trying to hear that. They wasn't trying to hear that at all. So they sent one of their guys at him, right? Vice Lords did. They sent one of their guys at him. And he was a pretty big dude, too. I'm talking about this dude probably about 6'5". He probably weighed close to 300 as well. And he liked the fight. He liked that aggressiveness. You know what I'm saying? And he felt like 300 was a sucker. Because, like I say, nobody had ever seen him fight. Nobody. So, they up on the ball field. And 300, he over there working out. You know what I'm saying? He by himself. But it's still up on the weight pile. When you're in the weight pile in the penitentiary, people are everywhere. You know what I'm saying? You just got to get in where you fit in, unless you got your own crew. And he didn't have his own crew at that time. So, he just, you know, when bench came open, he'll sit down, do his bench press, and then he'll get up. And if anybody else want to go, he'll spot them, and vice versa, that kind of thing, right? So he was over there, he was working out. And one of the worstest places to get caught slipping is on that weight pile. You understand what I'm saying? So when 300 got down on the bench, the vice lord dude, he pulled up, he made everybody move out of the way. He said, want me to spot you? 300 looked at him. And then he raised up real quick. He said, nah, I'm good. So the vice lord dude put his hand on his shoulder and tried to push him back down and said, nah, go on and get your set, bro. I got you. You don't trust me? 300 stood up and said, nah, man, I don't trust you behind me, man. Now, keep in mind, 300 had already been told by the 9 that be careful because they plotting. So he see what's going on. Now he started using his peripheral vision. He see different individuals start moving around like they circling around him. So he looking around, he trying to figure out, okay, who's who and what's what. And he noticed he's the vice lord. So he peeped out the game. So real quick, without any hesitation, without any tipping it off that he was finna do it, he hit the vice lord dude in the throat. Right in the throat. Quick old jab. Yeah. Dude did what anybody else would do. He grabbed his throat. And then he tried to lunge towards 300. 300 hit him with the 2P. Ha ha! And went straight to his knees. Dude went straight to his knees. Now 300 ain't no sucker. He ain't stupid either, right? He walked away. Now they start running in on him. But he walked away real fast. Because it's about 8 or 9 guys. He don't know if they got weapons. He don't know any of that. So he walk away. He walk all the way up to the fence. Get up to the fence because that's where the police is at. Now, I know some of y'all listening might say, that's the police moving all this and that, right? But you got to remember, he on his own now. He's on his own, right? So he get up there by the fence, and a few minutes later, they call changeover. Changeover is when they allow you to move and go back to the unit, or other people coming to the ball field, stuff like that, right? It's movement. So when they call changeover, he get on down, he get back to the unit. And like I say, he still live in the unit where the 9 live. So he get back into the unit, and he tell the 9 what happened, right? And he asked the 9, he said, man, let me get one of them butchers, right? The 9 tell him, look, I got love for you, but I can't do that. Now think about that. This used to be your number 2. He's asking for some assistance. And because of the way the rules are, it's like he can't do it. He can't do it. So 300 feeling like, okay, it's like that. It's almost like he's feeling like that they want this to happen to him. So this is the first time he said he really just got angry with GD to the point of where he wanted to hurt them too. So he told the 9, he said, that's what's up, man. I appreciate you even, you know what I'm saying, let me know what was going on, right? So he leaves up out the room and he goes back to his cell. And he's sitting in his cell. And his cellie come in. His cell is a peon. His cellie come in. And his cellie tell him, he said, man, they talking about you on the compound. He says, I know it. He said, did you hear about what happened on the ball field with the vice lord? And his cellie tell him, yeah, I heard about it. He said, man, you know they coming. He said, I know they coming. He asked his cellie, he said, man, you got a butcher. And his cellie told him, yeah, I can get one. He said, man, get me one. And he said, and if they come, you get out of the way, man. He said, no, I'm going to stand with you. He said, nah, this ain't your fight. This ain't your fight. And like I said, 300, he's not a sucker. So his cellie go get him a butcher. He bring it back to the cell. He's sitting in there. He lace up real good. Lace up real good. Got his shoes on tight. He has some magazines he done tied around his body. You know what I'm saying? And he put his shirt, a big old sweatshirt, over the top of it. He don't put his coat on. He put the sweatshirt over the top of it, right? So that they won't even think that, you know, he's got, you know, the books on him like that, right? You put them books on magazines around you like that so that if somebody try to stick you, it'll stop it a little bit. It won't go all the way in. And if it does, it'll be slowed down just a little bit, just enough so you can take care of your business. So vice lords come up to the unit. Not the same one that he knocked in the throat on the ball field, but some other ones, right? They trying to get him because they embarrassed now. They come to the cell. They knock on the door, tell him, come on up out of there. Or they coming in there. He pushed the door open and he step up out of that cell and he got that butcher in his hand. And he looking at him, he said, who first? I take y'all one at a time. Then it's about 8 of them again. They all start walking towards him, closing the space between them. Then that's when the 9 come out. He said, hold up. He said, man, he'll take y'all one at a time. We ain't finna do that. And they looked at him, they tell the 9, this ain't your business, man. Stay out of this. He said, oh, no, I know it ain't my business. He said, but y'all ain't coming up in this part and doing that. And if you want to do it, you're going to do it one at a time, or you're not going to do it. Do that outside the unit. That's as much as he could help him. As much as he could help him. So they decide to get on down and leave, right? And they keep on plotting, though. If you want to know how they continue to plot to try to get 300, tune in to the next episode, right? This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.